On live. Okay, it's live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Cinco de Mayo. I am your host of What's Cooking with Councilwoman Linda Julien. I am your host, Linda Julien. And today I am joined by my co-host, Representative Felicia Robinson. Say hello, Rep.
Hello. Hello.
Good to have you on the show with us.
And I am so happy to be here. Doing some of the things that I love most. We're going to be cooking. And we're going to be not just cooking, but we're going to be healthy cooking. So you know I love that.
Yes. I'm excited to hear about some of the things that take place in Tallahassee while we cook. And also excited to talk to our chef, Ashely, about the ingredients and some of the nutritional benefits of the foods that we're going to be eating. So cooking and eating. And so now let me introduce you to our chef, my other co-host, Ashely from Eat Well Exchange. Hi, Ashely.
Hi. I'm so happy to be here today, and I can't wait to start cooking with you all. We're going to make a nice, fun, easy recipe that's full of nutritional benefits.
So we are excited. So I hope you are all ready. I hope you got your ingredients. And let's get this party started. Cinco de Mayo style. Let's do it. So Ashely, let's see what all you have here. We're going to take a look at all the ingredients for this tasty taco meal that we're about to indulge in. So we have us, avocados here, right? These are my favorite. These are my favorite avocados. We have tomatoes, onions, we have
Cilantro, jalapenos. We have cumin, garlic, onion powder, and also adobo.
Okay, good stuff.
Yes. So the great thing about these bowls is even if there's something you see here that you don't like, it's okay because we can substitute it for something else, or you can just take it out and the bowl will be fine without. So we'll talk about that a little bit more when it comes to different subs you can make for this meal.
Okay. And so for me, I am huge on protein. I eat, for the most part, most meats. Representative Robinson does not eat meat, right? You don't eat protein.
Don't eat any meat.
Okay.
At all. Eat fish, no chicken. So I'm pretty much just veggies. Veggies and herbs.
Right. And then for myself, I'm pescatarian. So mainly vegetarian. Every now and then I sprinkle in fish and other seafoods. So all three of us can all eat the same meal right now, and I'll show you how.
And this is going to be fun. So let's get started.
Yes, I'm excited. Yay.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our black beans. So black beans are a source of protein. So I know we talked about eating meat and not eating meat. And a lot of people think that once you take meat out your diet, all your protein's gone. Mm-hmm. But there's a couple different items we're going to use today that are very high in protein. And also a good benefit is they're lower in fat because it's not from any animal products. So black beans will be the start. We're going to start off with now, and it's high in protein and fiber. So we're going to get cooking. All right.
All right, so I'll just turn my camera down a little bit so you can see. So the first thing we're going to do for the black beans, we're going to turn the pan on medium high. I'm going to add oil. So we're using avocado oil today.
Ooh, I like
So that's the thing, when it comes to oils, different oils contain different benefits. Is there one oil that's better than others? My answer to that would be no. It's a great thing to change up your oils. So do avocado one day, grapeseed another day, olive oil another day, and then that way you can get different benefits.
Okay, and that's what I usually do too. So my question is, I do notice that sometimes the oils have a different consistency. So why did you choose avocado oil for this particular dish?
That's a good question because avocado oil has a higher smoke point. We're going to be cooking the beans. We're going to let it simmer throughout the entire presentation.
So we don't want to lose all the nutrients from the oils.
Okay.
So,
see.
right.
Good stuff.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So we were using olive oil. It has a lower smoke point. So that means if we cook it for a long time, we're losing all of the nutrients.
Oh.
Yes.
You have to tell us something about, we don't have to do a whole oil show at some point.
We really could because there's so much to talk about when it comes to different oils with their benefits and their uses. I would not say that there's a bad oil because olive oil is still great for your heart. It's great for you overall, but it's just better to put in a salad than it is to cook with.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So with our beans,
Yes.
are they, so I see do we get dry beans or are we getting,
Thank you. You are just.
I gotta be able to replicate this,
Yes. So I
Yeah.
actually use canned beans today.
Okay.
But I'll teach you a trick. A lot of people say you should not use canned beans. Why? Because they're high in sodium, right? But if you take your canned beans and rinse them, you decrease the sodium by 41%. So that means if canned beans are easy for you, like they are for me, I just came from work, I can cook my dinner right away. I don't have to soak them. But to decrease the sodium, you just rinse them and drain them.
And that's important because, especially us of color, high blood pressure, we want to make sure we get some of that salt out there. So,
Right.
So
The statistics is 1 out of 4 African Americans will have some form of heart disease in their lifetime. And think about it, it's 4 of us right here.
Right?
So when you think about it like that, it really makes it real. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one.
Right?
So rinse our beans.
Yes, rinse your beans, canned vegetables, period, you want to rinse. Even for fruits, if you rinse them, it decreases the sugar in them as well.
Okay.
So always in the habit of rinsing.
So for anyone who is just now joining us, Ashely just told us that if you are making beans from a can, best practice is to rinse the beans because it will reduce the sodium by 41%. That's a good tip right there. Yay!
Yes.
Okay. I hope you all taking notes.
So now, to start our beans off, we're going to use onions. Because remember, whatever, a little too hot, sorry.
Okay.
Whatever we cook, we want it to taste good.
Absolutely.
So the onions are going to add flavor to our black beans.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one thing that I do know about onions is that they are rich in vitamin C.
That's
Okay.
right.
So, it is often said that we get vitamin C from citrus, oranges, orange juice, but onions, provide vitamin C nutrients as well. So
I love that.
I love onions.
I do too. Onions and issues. Don't put no garlic in there. I'm
Listen.
Oh, you like garlic?
Yes.
Same. Question about the onions. I did not know that, so that's
Yes.
great. That's great information. Now, does it matter whether the onions are cooked or not when it comes to the vitamin C?
Yes, it's different.
Okay.
Cooked onions and raw onions have different benefits, but they're both great for you. It's going to have more vitamin C when it's raw than when it's cooked.
Okay.
Yes. But then when it's cooked, it has more of the immune fighting properties as well. So other antioxidants. So either way you like your onions, have them, but you just get different benefits.
Okay.
And actually in our dish, you'll get both.
Oh, good.
Because we're going to make Pico De Gallo, which is the raw onions, and then we have our cooked onions and the beans. And honestly, I put onions in everything. So you're going to get a lot of onions
Me
today.
too.
Yeah, me too. And I love pico, so I can't.
Yes. And then we have some garlic powder as well.
Got
So-
some garlic.
Just for you.
Yay.
So we're seasoning our onions right now because we want to make sure that before we put our beans in the pan, we have nice seasonings going. We want to make sure our beans taste very good.
I need aroma.
Yes.
I'm getting hungry.
Okay, well, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Okay.
And while we're doing that, Ashely, I know that you put together a healthy drink for Cinco de Mayo. Why don't you
Yes.
tell us the ingredients of this healthy drink?
Okay. So for our drink, we have sparkling water.
Ooh.
Yes. Berries, because berries are great for your heart health. And also we have lemons as well. So lemons are high in vitamin C. So this is a very refreshing drink. Again, easy to make because everything you ever see me do in the kitchen will be very quick, easy, and not too time consuming.
And we need that.
We do.
We're
How
all
busy.
But we want to be healthy.
That's
Right.
So,
And I use frozen berries too for this. So when it comes to frozen fruits, it's okay to use because frozen fruits and vegetables are picked at their peak of freshness.
Okay.
So that means you're getting all the nutrients like if you were there the moment that it was picked, which is great.
well, I'm glad because that's usually what I use in my smoothies.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
And it's easy and it replaces ice too when you're using it in a smoothie.
Okay, so I'm gonna get started with this healthy berry drink. Okay. So I'm gonna pour you ladies a glass.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Oh, beans are looking good.
And they're smelling good too.
Yes.
You want me to stir that?
Yes,
And you
please.
need to go ahead because you like a head chef.
Okay.
And your sous chef. Sous chef.
So now we have the beans back there, stirring.
Yes.
And like I said, we're doing the beans first because we want to make sure that the beans really take in the flavor. If we cook these beans right now and serve them, they're going to just taste like canned beans. But if we really give them time to sit, you can taste the garlic, you can taste the onion, you can really get all the different flavors in there. So we want to do that first.
Looking good.
Yes. Another thing that I did before we got on camera is I seasoned the fish. So for the fish, I use cumin, adobo, chili powder, salt, and pepper. So I put all of that in the fish. And a trick for you, whenever you're seasoning if you're making fish, yes, whenever you're making fish or chicken, you want to cut slits inside of it.
Yeah. Very refreshing.
Yes.
This is
So
very
how's the
refreshing.
drink?
It is
so good.
very good, very refreshing
Very
for a
good.
hot summer day. And tell our folks what ingredients are in this drink again.
Yes, so we have sparkling water. You can use any one of your choice. Frozen berries. So I did a triple mix where it has the blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries because all the berries have antioxidants, but also different benefits based off of their color. And we have lemon in there as well to give it more of like the summer, refreshing.
It is very refreshing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I
You're
love it.
welcome. So now our beans are cooking. The next thing we're going to focus on is our buckwheat.
Now, buckwheat is something that's new for me. So you want to tell me about the buckwheat?
Okay, so when it comes to carbs, a lot of times people say carbs are bad for you. Who has heard that before? I know, I always hear that. Oh no, everyone tells me, oh no, I'm doing good. I'm cutting out my carbs. But in actuality, you don't have to cut out carbohydrates from your diet. And the reason why is because number one, carbs are everywhere. These beans have carbs. Milk has carbs. Everything has carbs except for meat for the most part. So it's a good idea to just change the type of carbs you have so that you get more nutrients and you get more fiber. So I'm going to move these beans to the back. And then we're going to start the buckwheat. And Miss Robinson, I need your help on the buckwheat.
Okay, be more than happy.
Have
So-
you ever had buckwheat noodle?
I've never had buckwheat at all. That's what I'm saying. This is new for me.
A lot of people haven't, and I'll do a close-up so you can take a look at it. This is what buckwheat looks like. It's called, it's like, they call it a pseudo grain because it's not technically a grain.
Okay.
It still does have carbohydrates, but it's not a grain. It's not like rice, or it's not like,
How about quinoa?
quinoa is another pseudo grain, where it's not a real grain, but we eat it like one. So this is what it looks like in its raw state, and you'll see soon how it looks after we cook it. It's a great choice of starch to use for your family because for this small amount, you want to see how much it expands.
Okay.
So a great thing about it is it has a very low glycemic index. So I'll explain what that word means. If someone has ever been diagnosed with diabetes or said that they're pre-diabetic, the word glycemic index always comes up. And pretty much what that means is it causes your blood sugar to spike when the glycemic index is high. So this one has a low one, which means that it doesn't cause your blood sugar to spike as high, which is great.
Okay. So that would that be a good substitute for rice?
It would be.
Okay.
It would be. So it still has calories. It's not like cauliflower rice where it's very low in calories. And calories aren't bad because you want to feel full and satisfied. But a great benefit is it has a lot of protein. I know we talked about you not eating meat, and this is something that you can use as like a protein substitute for your meal.
And that'd be great. That's for me, it's protein. And then my mom, she's a diabetic. So I try to watch how much, rice she takes in.
Exactly.
So I'm loving it. Buckwheat.
So we'll start this one off the same. We just put about half of that.
Do I need some oil in it?
Yes, please. Sorry.
You want to use the
Yes, we'll use avocado oil again.
avocado oil? Okay, is that enough?
That's perfect. So pretty much, and I'm glad you asked, because when it comes to oil, you don't want to go crazy. Because even though I told you avocado oil was great for you, if we put too much of it in there, it's still fat at the end of the day. So we don't want to overdo the fat.
So how much onion?
That's perfect. We're just putting enough onions to coat the bottom of the pan, because again, we're using the onions to provide us flavor. So just like we did for the beans, it's okay to use onions as a base.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, bro. Yeah. Now, I do have an issue, and you can tell me because I know you want to make sure I get it right. I like my different oils, but sometimes I like butter.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, is that bad?
Butter has its place. I'll say that. It's okay to use butter for some things, but just remember that butter is high in saturated
Should I
fat.
turn this down?
Yes, please. So
Oh, that's
medium.
right.
Yes.
Okay, there we
Right.
Well, what about plant-based butter? So I've used butter from the Mayo brand.
Yes.
I get it from Trader Joe's.
Mhm.
I feel like it doesn't have the same consistency because when you look at it, you know, from plant-based butter to like regular butter, but I feel like when you cook it, like when you put it in the pot and you start to cook it, it melts just the same and the food tastes just the same.
Right. Some of them are okay. You just
Some-
really have to look at your ingredient label and see what it's made of.
Okay.
go. Ooh, one day we're gonna have to
Yes.
do what's cooking on a grocery store.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love it.
So now we're going to season the buckwheat. We have onion powder.
Okay.
So you can just sprinkle a good amount in there.
Thank you, sprinkle, sprinkle.
We have adobo.
Okay, then Councilwoman, you be my sprinkle.
Okay.
Okay. Now what was that one again?
That would be adobo.
Adobo. Okay.
And then that's some chili powder. Just gonna put a little bit of that in there.
Too spicy.
Not too spicy. Remember today is Cinco de Mayo, so you want to get that Mexican flavor in there.
Oh, the mayo.
Yes. So we want a good flavor in there.
Okay.
Because everything, yes, everything we cook we want to taste very good. And we're using a lot of different herbs as you've seen. So when it comes to the herbs, yes.
Ooh.
Oh, that was
Amazing.
amazing.
Show it to them again. Show
We
it
got
to them
that
again.
color. You see, rich.
Yes. That's what we want.
Vegetable.
That's perfect. When it comes to cooking your vegetables, what you're doing now is perfect. Because if you overcook them, then we're losing nutrients.
Okay.
So there's a sweet spot. Once you start cooking them, it's great. You get more flavor. But then when you cook them too long, you lose the nutrients.
Okay.
So the next thing we're going to do, because we just deglaze our pan pretty much. We're getting the pan nice and flavorful. We're going to add vegetable stock.
I am so happy that you use vegetable stock.
Yes.
Because I must say this. So sometimes when I go out to eat, they'll say, well, we have some nice vegetable dish. But I have to ask them, well, did they cook it with,
It's sometimes pork.
most time
Or
pork
chicken.
or either some type of beef, something stock. So like I love French onion soup. But I can't never eat it out because they always do it with,
Now let me ask you a question. Is vegetable stock the same as vegetable broth?
No, there's a difference.
Okay.
The stock has more sodium than the broth.
Okay.
But as you see for this dish, we haven't added any sodium yet.
Okay.
So it's okay. I don't want you to be afraid to eat sodium. The main focus is just decreasing it everywhere you can. Because sometimes you'll have your beans that have sodium, then you add the stock that has sodium, then you add all kind of packaged seasonings that have sodium, and before you look, it's just a big pot of salt.
I know, but when you finish, your meal is too salty.
Right. So we're gonna bring that to a boil.
Okay.
And then once it's to a boil, we're gonna add the buckwheat. So pretty much when you're cooking your rice, you can do this as a base. So even if it's not buckwheat, you can still do this for your rice.
Okay.
And what we just did is we added some flavor to our food.
And we like flavor.
We love flavor.
So,
And so if you just made the buckwheat and you boiled it with water, you probably you may not like the taste that much. It kind of has like a nutty taste. It's not bad, but it's not it doesn't have a good flavor profile. So what we did right now is we just added some more flavor to it. We added some volume to it. So that's what we're gonna focus on doing throughout the dish.
Okay.
so the beans are settling very well here.
We can put them on low actually right now.
Okay.
Yes, so our beans are on low right now. They're pretty much cooked, but we're just trying to make sure they get a great flavor. The buckwheat, we're bringing the vegetable stock to a boil. Perfect. And then once that gets to a boil, we're going to add our buckwheat. Actually, sorry, I do. Yes, I put the top to the right of you. That's perfect. It's just for the pico.
So
Okay.
I noticed that you put water in the
No.
buckwheat.
Yes. So again, we're straining the buckwheat. We're just rinsing it with cool water, and I recommend you do that for all grains, just to make sure that you clean it before you.
Now I noticed that you said cool water. Why not hot water or warm water?
That's a good question because we don't want to start the cooking process yet. We want to make sure that we're just rinsing it and not starting to cook it because, of course, it's going to change the consistency if you start to cook it and you stop.
And that's important for me because usually every time I turn the water on, I want it to be hot. So I need to know that.
No, I don't blame you. So now it's rinsed and you can already see. I'll bring it up to the camera soon. you can already see that it looks a little bit larger than it did when I first showed you. And this is really a grain that takes up space. And when you think about that in your body, it kind of helps you feel full a little bit quicker.
It looks like it expanded.
Exactly. It did already.
Mhm.
So it is high in fiber, and pretty much fiber is great for a lot.
Yes.
It's great for cholesterol because fiber cannot stay into your body. So that means whenever you eat fiber, your body is going to release it. But before your body releases it, it takes pockets of cholesterol with it.
Okay.
So naturally, it decreases your cholesterol. No medication, just this.
Yes.
Very important again when it
Yes.
comes to heart disease.
Yeah.
It is. It's directly related to decreasing heart disease. And also it's great for diabetics because it stops your blood sugar from spiking too. So if you add more foods like this with fiber, you're going to decrease your blood sugar from spiking, which is important. And another benefit is fiber helps you feel full longer.
Okay, well, I know I'm going to get some buckwheat for my house because we need some of that.
Yes. And buckwheat, you can find it at most grocery stores. You can go to Publix, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Aldi, which is where I get it from sometime too, right there in Miami Gardens.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And my sister said she found it at Dollar Tree as well before.
That's
So
right.
you can find it anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere else outside of our city. We can get everything that we're cooking today from our city because that's where all the ingredients came from,
That's
right here in
right.
Miami Gardens.
That's right.
Okay,
Shop
it is
local.
boiling.
Shop local. All
It's
right.
boiling.
Ooh.
Okay, so we're gonna just stir it in.
So now, just so you guys can see what the buckwheat looks like, so now we're about to place it in the boiling stock, vegetable stock. Here we go.
Yeah.
You can just stir it slowly as you're adding it into it.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, so
Okay.
perfect. So we could stop right there and it will taste great. But remember, I put Caribbean on here. So I don't know how all of you cook your rice, but for me, I like to put thyme and I like to put a Scotch bonnet.
You
So
got
we're
it.
gonna do that.
And that's what we do.
Yes.
Yes.
And again, we're just adding more flavor, so it's right there next to you. You can just
Okay.
drop a Scotch bonnet, just one in there.
Now let me ask you the difference between just putting a whole Scotch bonnet and or slicing it and putting it in there. If you slice it and put it in there, what happens versus just putting a whole Scotch bonnet?
If you slice it, you have to be ready for the spice.
There
You're
you
going to
go.
get more flavor, but it's very, very hot.
What color do y'all want? Green or orange?
Green or
Let's
orange?
see.
Green or orange?
Green or orange?
Green or orange? You're
We're
both
gonna go
Miami.
with orange because Councilwoman has on an orange apron. So we're gonna go with orange.
All right.
Okay?
Yep. Let's do it. All right.
Okay.
And then be very careful when you add your Scotch bonnet because if it pops, your dish is going to be very, very spicy. So just a gentle stir, and then we're going to add some thyme on top of that too.
Okay. Time out.
Yes. And some of the benefits of thyme, it's good for circulation and also for respiratory conditions. Right now, we know we're in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of people that have, were able to beat COVID, they're still having respiratory. That's perfect.
Okay.
And we're just going to sprinkle that right on top. That's going to add more flavor. So again, if you or family member have asthma, bronchitis, any respiratory conditions, it's a good idea to start dropping some thyme inside of your foods that you're cooking.
Love it. Now, question. I see that we made sure that we use the fresh thyme.
Yes.
I mean, I like the fresh thyme, but that how different is that between they have the little dried leaves and they have the powder.
They all have their place. When it comes to boiling rice, I like the fresh thyme. When it comes to fish or anything like that, I like to put the fresh one on top. But if I'm just seasoning with it, then the packaged one is fine. That's a great
Need
question.
all your secret tips.
No problem. So now we're going to cover the buckwheat and let it cook for about 20 minutes. And while that's cooking, we're going to get started on the fish.
Okay, so we turn it down. Should we turn it down?
Yes, you can turn it down to like a medium low. Just because it's a lot of water, and you're going to see as we peek over and check on, you're going to see the buckwheat's going to expand more and more.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So next up, we have our fish.
Getting hungry. So this is a very different fish. I guess at least for me, I've never heard of sway fish. Have you? Okay.
I've heard of sway
Okay.
before.
Yes. So sway is a flaky white fish, and it's great to use for tacos because it doesn't break apart and crumble like other fish does. And it's a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. Again, good for your heart. As you see, a lot of different elements that we're cooking with today are all great for your heart health. So if we just add all of those into our diet periodically, that's going to help us overall.
And I was going to add, when we talk about heart health, you know, people of color, heart health is majorly important. But for us as women,
Yes.
we know that, you know, heart disease is our number one killer. And so I'm very cautious of that because we have to make sure we protect our hearts in every way.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yes, in every way.
In every
I got
way.
that.
Glad you picked up on
I
that.
got you. And not only is it a number one killer, it's a silent killer. That's the
Yes.
hard part about heart disease.
Yes.
You live with it your whole, well, not your whole life, but you live with it for a while. And for some people, their first sign of a heart disease is a heart attack.
Exactly.
So you have to be very careful and do everything you can now to prevent. So we're going to get started with our fish.
All right.
And again, we're going to use a little bit of oil, so you can put it on medium high.
Medium high. Okay.
The big and small.
Okay.
And then you can drizzle some oil. And like I said, I already seasoned the fish. And I cut slits in the fish before I seasoned it. You can do that for chicken as well, or any type of meat that you're cooking. A little bit more, just because it's 4 big pieces.
Okay.
Yes, so now we're just coating the pan with a single layer of oil.
Okay.
And we cut slits, that way the seasoning can go deep into the fish. And again, we use cumin, adobo, chili powder, and garlic powder as well. So,
Sounds nice.
yes.
I hope you guys are enjoying this What's Cooking with Councilwoman Julien and Representative Felicia Robinson here, and my chef, Ashely from Eat Well Exchange. We are cooking up a tasty, hearty taco bowl for Cinco de Mayo. So let's do this. So what's next?
Perfect.
We put
So,
onions? I put onions in everything.
me too.
Onions in everything. I'm guilty.
Well, I had a question though about the fish. So I see that it's well seasoned, looking
Yes.
good. But we're not going to coat it in any way. We're not going to put it in a batter or flour.
no, for this
Just
we don't
like-
have to. We could, honestly, if you wanted to elevate your bowl, you can do that a little bit. You can bake it. You can put a different crust on it. Even oatmeal serves as a crust sometimes too that you can use. And that adds more protein, more fiber. Yep, another time, but that's a great question. Something you can do as well if you want like a crispy fish bowl. Okay, so now we're just going to, if it's hot enough.
I feel the heat. Can you feel the heat?
Yes.
If you're just joining, so far we have the black beans cooking in the back. We have our buckwheat in the front still boiling. Now we're going to make our fish. And then right after the fish, we're going to start the Pico De Gallo. And then after that, we're going to put everything together. And while we're putting the bowl together, you can add items that you like, or you can take away items that you're not a fan of. So this is a great meal to make with the family, even if you have young kids, because pretty much they can chip in different parts. Like the Pico De Gallo would be great to have, you know, if you have a young child come in, because you can just have them dump the different ingredients in the bowl. And a fun fact, whenever you let your kids in the kitchen, they're more likely to eat. So if you have young kids and you're watching this, bring your kids in the kitchen, let them stir the pot, let them mix some of the ingredients in, and that they're going to be more likely to try the food than if you just hand it to them.
That is so true. Because one of my girlfriends, shouts out to Darian Martin, she does that with her 2 boys. And so she involves them in her cooking. And like, you know, they'll be, you know, stirring and chopping stuff up and, you know, making eggs and stuff. And so, you know, this fun fact, they eat it because they're a part of the process.
Well, I made this, so it has to be good.
Right.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, this should be enough. Let me just check it.
The buckwheat is smelling really good. Yeah. And so I noticed that with the buckwheat, as it comes down to a boil, you notice the little holes in it.
Yes.
And so I'm of Caribbean background. My parents are from Haiti, right? And so my mom, when she makes rice, she always says, you know that the rice is going to be good when you see that it's not going to be soggy or wet, when you see that it is coming down to a boil and it has the holes in it.
That's right.
So I assume it's the same thing.
Exactly the same.
It's going to be consistent.
Yes.
Okay, good.
It's going to be a nice consistency. We are going to stir it throughout, but just it's going to be a good consistency because it's going to cook all the way through. So.
All right.
Yes. So now we're
Hi everyone, this is Councilwoman Julien, and we are here with What's Cooking with Councilwoman Julien. We are making a tasty taco bowl for Cinco de Mayo. I am here with our chef Ashely from Eat Well Exchange, and also joined by my co-host, Representative Felicia Robinson. And we are about a quarter way through the meal. We've already started on the beans. We started with the buckwheat, and now we are making some sway fish. That's just sway. First of all, I like that word, right? I like that word. And so we are making some sway fish, and then we have all of our ingredients here: our tomatoes, our Hass avocados, which are my favorites. I love these avocados because I will eat one whole Hass avocado like in one sitting. I love avocados.
You know, I really want to talk about the avocados. So since I've been grown, I see more of these avocados, the little small ones.
Mm-hmm.
However, growing up, my aunt had a tree, and I guess that's when we got all of that, and they were the really big ones.
Yes.
So you don't really see them as much lately. To me. And then I want to know what's the difference? Do they taste different?
Yes, there's a difference. The Hass ones, which are the smaller ones, it's a little bit easier for some people because it's like a single person serving.
Yeah.
But the larger ones have more fat than the Hass do.
Oh, that's probably why I like.
But remember, it's a healthier fat.
Okay.
So it's not just like the fat that leads to weight gain, it's the fat that's good for your heart as well, because avocados are very heart healthy, which is what we're going for. So they have a lot of great benefits. They're both beneficial for you. It just depends on what you have access to. For me, growing up, I had an avocado tree.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, growing up, I didn't like avocado.
What?
I know.
Avocados are
They
everything.
didn't let you cook with them.
That's it. But now I love avocados and I eat them every chance I can. I'll just, cut one open and eat it.
Yeah.
But growing up, I didn't like it. It's one of those kid things where you don't like something, so you're just really against it for no reason. But once I tried it as an adult, now I can't stop eating it.
I wasn't that kid. My aunt had a tree. I would slice them, put some lemon juice, salt, and pepper.
Hey, not the salt and pepper, yes. Well, Ashely, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hass avocados are the avocados that are used to make guacamole.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Because I once tried to make guacamole with like the big avocado, and it was not working out for me. Okay.
You just let us our next point. While our fish is cooking, we're going to start making the Pico De Gallo.
Okay.
So pretty much Pico De Gallo is going to be almost like a salsa, but it's not going to be as wet as salsa is. And it's just chopped vegetables we're going to add together to make almost like a little seasoning on top of our bowl.
And I actually prefer pico rather than salsa.
I do as well. Because I feel like you really get to enjoy all the parts of it compared to a salsa. It's almost like a puree where everything is mixed together.
Anytime I'm out, if they have, you get like something that they're going to serve in sauce. I mean, do you have pico?
Oh, the bowl's right there.
Oh, right here or right here?
No, right there. Sorry. That's
This
the
right
bowl.
here?
Yes.
Okay.
I moved over. But yes. So now we're going to make our Pico De Gallo.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add tomatoes.
We're going to add some tomatoes.
Okay.
Okay. So we have our tomatoes, and now we're going to add our onions.
Onions.
So tomatoes are great, especially for men's health, because it has lycopene.
Okay.
So anything with that red color, like watermelons, tomatoes, it contains lycopene, which is good for men's health, for their prostate, for testicular cancer. It's great for everything dealing with men's health. But also, tomatoes are great for our heart as well.
Okay.
This is the heart healthy cooking
I'm so
video.
happy to hear that because I did not know tomatoes was good for men's health.
It was very good.
Okay.
For
So lycopene.
lycopene.
I've heard of that.
Yes.
Okay, good job.
All right.
And I'm onions. Go ahead.
So our onions, which have been our friend throughout, in a part of Mexican cuisine, there's onions in a lot of different dishes. And this shows you because with Eat Well Exchange, with my nonprofit, we focus on cultural food.
Put the onions in
All
there.
right. All right there.
Pico.
Okay.
Pico is nothing but onions, tomatoes.
Yes.
Okay. That's the main ingredient. Okay. All right.
And now we're going to add our cilantro.
So, I've never been a fan of cilantro.
Does it taste like metal to you when you eat it?
It has a distinctive taste.
We can put it in at the end then.
Well, no, I don't mind us putting it in.
Okay.
I'll eat it, but is there a way to maybe get rid of that taste? Maybe you soak it in something?
It's a genetic thing, and that's why I knew once you said you didn't like it, that's why. Anybody who doesn't like cilantro, because for some people, there's like a genetic, I don't say issue, but there's just like a genetic difference
Okay.
where when you eat it in your mouth, it tastes like a soapy metal.
Okay.
So if
It don't happen like that for me.
no, I love it. That's not what I taste, but for some people that happens.
That is so interesting. Okay, so we got our cilantro in there. We're gonna add our pepper, green peppers.
Yeah, well, those are
Yeah,
actually
jalapeno.
jalapenos.
Oh, girl.
So those jalapenos aren't that spicy, but you can add some to it.
Who's afraid of
But
spice
now,
here?
normally the pico doesn't have jalapenos. Do it?
It does sometimes, but I like spice.
I mean, I like
flavor.
it too, so I'm good.
Add it
I'm
in
waiting for
there.
that lime juice to get there.
Yes,
Yes.
and then we have our lime. Yes.
Yeah. And this is the pretty good lime. So sometimes when you go to the store and you touch, like you feel the lime, like you squeeze on it and like it's just hard. It feels like a rock. My mom always says that those are the limes that you don't get because there aren't
No
any juice.
Right.
And this one is you can actually press on it and you can actually
Feel
feel
the juice. Feel the juice.
exactly. So that's just a little fun fact. So when you go out and buy limes, if you ever wonder why your lime isn't producing enough juice, it's because you should be getting the one that's a little more tender.
And that's why we don't necessarily like to get them in the bag.
That's right.
Right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
We're gonna slice this.
And then for the tomatoes, actually, it was the opposite. So for the tomatoes, I got the ones that are really firm. Because if not, the Pico De Gallo would just be all mushy right now.
right. And I like firm tomatoes.
Yes.
Me too. Go ahead and squeeze that lime juice. I'll stir. Take this out of the juice.
I'm trying to squeeze this, y'all.
Let's see. Let's see. A drip came out. I might need some help. Okay.
I do have a squeezer. Yes, sir.
She got a squeezer. She got a squeezer. Oh, there you go.
There you go. This whole time I had you all struggling for no
There
reason.
you go.
Both cooking, there's a workout aspect as well. So that was our workout.
Yeah.
Squeezing the limes to work out.
There you go. That I see the juice.
So now if you take a look for our Pico de Gallo, we have tomatoes, we have onions, we have cilantro, and we have the lemon as well. So this is pretty much your mix. We are going to add a little bit of salt and pepper just to give it some more flavor.
There you go.
Y'all see that?
Yeah, I like a lot of juice in mine.
I'm
Good
going to
job.
give me one of them.
And we can add some more tomatoes too.
Okay.
The main thing that we like about this Pico de Gallo is the color. Whenever you're cooking, you want to make sure you have a lot of color because color indicates nutrients. So if everything we had was red, that means we're going to get all the benefits from red fruits or vegetables. But if we have red, if we have white, if we have green, if we have yellow, we're going to get a better variety of nutrients.
Okay.
So even if you don't memorize that red stuff has lycopene, that's fine. As long as you're getting a good variety of colors, you know that you're going to be getting a good variety of nutrients as well.
Look at this fish though. Look how well it is simmering up. Check this out, guys. Ooh, this is so delicious.
So yes, we're gonna let the fish cook a little bit longer. Oh, that Pico de Gallo looks amazing.
I can't wait to dive in. And so we use some salt and we
I
use
put 2 swirls and 2 swirls.
is that pepper or pepper?
Yes, pepper.
Okay.
Yes. So this shows you that it is okay to add salt to some of your food items. You just don't want to get in the habit of putting salt in everything. Because sometimes you just grab the salt, not even thinking about it. But you can add thyme, you can add cumin, you can add different seasonings. You don't always have to reach for the salt. So you don't have to be afraid of it, but you just want to start exploring other things. I know we talked about turmeric earlier too. You can grab different herbs and spices instead of just relying on salt, and that way you get more flavor. Because that's what we really want. That's why we're grabbing the salt to get flavor. So we can get it from other places. So the fish is almost done. We're just going to let it brown a little bit. And we can check on our buckwheat.
Okay. Buckwheat.
Is it hot?
No.
Okay. And you can just stir it gently because, again, we don't want that Scotch bonnet to pop or we're going to have a different type of dish.
We gonna have a popping dish.
We're going to have a very popping dish. So how's it looking?
It's looking good.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see how much has expanded already, that
Oh, yeah.
buckwheat.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So the buckwheat is going to be the base of our dish. Whenever it comes to carbs, we want to make sure we just use a palm of that in our meal. So when we build our bowl, we're going to remember to put a palm of the buckwheat in our meal. And then when it comes to the fish, the same thing, about the same size as our palm. So if you're watching now, you can hold up your hand and just visualize that palm. That's how much carbs you should be having.
Okay.
So you can compare that to how much rice you usually use. If you go out to eat and you probably put half a plate of rice, just think about your palm and know that this is the correct serving size.
Portion.
That's your portion. Because it's not always about what we're eating, it's about the amount that we have of it. So you can choose healthy foods, but if you eat a lot of them, it may not be as beneficial for you as if you had less of it.
And one thing I always say, remember, you are what you eat. So, you eat a whole bunch of rice, and you ain't nothing but rice.
I like that.
Yes. Our fish is almost done cooking. We're just going to cover it to make sure that the inside is cooked all the way through. It's pretty much done so. And as you see, I waited to cover it because I wanted to make sure that it was nice and had a crispy finish and not too soft. So that's always a good practice. Whenever you're cooking your fish on both sides, wait to the end to cover it to make sure that it's still good texture.
Nice.
Okay. All the good tips. Thank you. And we'll just check on our beans.
Good.
Yes.
So the black beans are pretty much ready. We have our buckwheat ready. Our fish is almost ready, and now we're going to build our bowls.
Okay.
Now, can I ask you a question, Ashely? So my eyes landed over here, and I noticed that you have some pink Himalayan salt.
Yes.
Okay, and so can you tell us what the benefits of pink Himalayan salt are, and why did you choose to use white salt as opposed to the pink salt?
Well, for a couple of different reasons, because the pink salt is sometimes a little bit harder to find.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure that all the ingredients we're using today are easy to find and that they're affordable. But it's just a difference in nutrients, pretty much. The pink salt has a little bit more iodine than the regular white salt. And you can find iodine in other places, like even the fish that we're using today has iodine as well.
So the pink salt has iodine? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
The pink salt has more iodine.
More iodine, which is good for your thyroid.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. It's great for your thyroid.
Okay.
And also the crystals for the pink salt's a little bit bigger, so that means you use less of it. So even when it comes to sea salt, like if it's a thicker crystal salt, you're going to use less of the salt. It doesn't mean it's healthier per se, but it just means you're using less of it, so you're not going to get as much sodium as if you poured a lot of fine salt. Okay. So before I plate, I want to show you this plate and the size of it. So when it comes to your dinner plates, I think it was like 1950s, the plates were 8 inches. And now we're up to 12 inches when it comes to our plates. So think about that. 12 inches is a ruler. So if you put a ruler across your plate, how would it measure up? So if you use a smaller plate, you're going to eat less food. And I know we mentioned this last time as well, but I like to talk about it every time. Because if we use big plates, we're going to eat big portions. If we use smaller plates, we're going to eat smaller portions. So look at your plates at home, and if it's about the size of a ruler, you should try to find smaller plates. And you're going to notice that when you use a smaller plate, you're going to feel full with the amount of food on your plate.
Exactly.
Because we eat with our eyes as well.
I agree.
So if your plate's big, you're going to fill your plate up and you're going to eat it all. If your plate is small, you're going to fill that small plate up, eat it all, and you'll be satisfied just the same.
So those of you that are saying, hey, I want to lose some weight, first start with downsizing on your plate.
Yes. There we go.
There you go.
Our fish should be ready.
Okay.
So now we're going to build our bowls. So the buckwheat will go first.
Okay.
I'm going to get my
Can
bowl.
we turn off the stove?
Yes, we can turn everything off. Yeah. Ooh. And as we're building the bowl, we're going to remember the portion sizes that we talked about. So for the buckwheat, we said about the size of our palm. So you can just use that spoon and just put a little bit in the middle. That was perfect timing, so it finished right on time. So you can just put it right in the middle.
Okay.
A little bit more. Okay. And then now we can add our black beans.
Okay.
And remember, in this dish, I said that the black beans are providing protein, and so is the buckwheat. So if you don't eat the fish, that's okay, that's perfect. And then we're going to add, I'll do yours first so I don't forget to not put the fish on it. And then we're going to add the Pico De Gallo.
Okay, yes.
Go, Pico.
And put it right on this side. You can
You
put a good
know,
amount.
Pico, you know I was gonna go back.
And then we have avocados, so we can slice those open right now. So we have avocado, and then lettuce. And we also have right here, this is Greek yogurt.
Now, is that a substitute for sour cream?
It is.
Tell me.
So the reason why we're using Greek yogurt instead of sour cream is because it has less fat and it has more protein.
Okay.
And again, a lot of things we had today had protein. So this shows you if you're eating a plant-based meal, so not having, meat, you can still get protein from a lot of different aspects of this dish.
Okay.
So with the avocado, what are we doing? We just
Yes, you can just slice it like into wedges almost, like just going the long way. My sound effects help me visualize it. Perfect. Okay, so now as you see, another thing about this plate, we're gonna have a lot of colors and we're using smaller portions too, because it's okay to make yourself a plate, try it out, see if you like it. Yes, perfect, you can go right on that side. See how you like it and then get some more if you're still hungry. You don't have to put a lot of food on your plate at once because sometimes you'll eat it just because it's there. Okay, perfect. And then on the other side, you can put your lettuce. And then I like to put if you want the Greek yogurt, you can put it right on top. But it's a little bit creamier to me than sour cream. It has a little bit of a better flavor profile than sour cream.
Okay. I'll try that next time.
And I do a culinary academy with middle school age kids, and they love the Greek yogurt now. They call it the white sauce. And I'm like, okay, cool. But if you tell them it's yogurt, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to eat yogurt for my taco.
Right.
But when you have it, it's actually pretty good.
okay.
So this will be our complete bowl. This is our bowl without the fish. So remember this, with or without the fish, it's still a great balanced meal. You're still getting protein. You're still getting fiber. You're getting carbs, fruits, vegetables, everything in here.
And I am ready, but I'm gonna wait for them.
Yes. So I'll make the other plates up.
And it's really good, Rep.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm just waiting for you all. I don't want to, start without you.
All right.
I will.
Let's get this soy fish on this plate.
Yes. And even though we talked throughout the demo and stopped and discussed different things, you saw this meal took us less than an hour. And like I said, it's what I always aim for, to make meals that are quick, easy. You can just come home from work, come home from school, make this meal, feed your family without staying in the kitchen all day and all night. And because that makes cooking a little bit more, I guess, marketable for you because you don't feel like it's an entire chore. So again, we have our buckwheat in the middle, which is about the size of your palm. And then we'll add the black beans on the side. We're going to add the fish to this one for you, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I love my protein. Hold that for you.
Thank you. And again, the protein we're putting is about the same as the rice. So just about the size of your palm.
Thank you.
And then we'll have your Pico De Gallo that you can add.
My fave, my absolute fave, avocados.
Yes. And as we talked about the avocados, remember that's great for your heart health as well. And it's a great source of healthy fat because fat's important for our diet, but we just want to make sure it's the right fats that we're choosing, like that from avocado and also from different oils.
Okay. And then we're going to add our
Lettuce.
lettuce. Need a fork.
There you go.
Why, thank you.
Thank you, Tika.
Okay.
And then you can just add your Greek yogurt on top. And Greek yogurt is a great base. You can use it to make a spicy sauce as well. Like sometimes I can put sriracha inside the Greek yogurt to make it a little bit spicier.
Okay.
You can also make it sweet if you're dipping apples or anything like that. And you can do Greek yogurt with honey and cinnamon.
Okay.
So it's a great base that you can play around with.
Good stuff.
Love it.
All right.
So
So
we're all
now
set.
I'm about to
Give it a try.
give it a try. Come on, Rep. You ready?
I
All
was
right.
waiting on you.
Let me know.
Let's see. All right.
Pico, got my buckwheat. It is really good.
I got my sway. I got my beans. My
Very
buckwheat.
flavorful.
Good. And that's one thing. For everything I make, I always have to be full of flavor.
It
Because
is.
healthy foods can still taste good. You don't have to eat bland foods to be healthy.
This is delicious. Listen, guys, if you can see my bowl, we just created a tasty taco bowl for Cinco de Mayo. This has all healthy benefits, and it is delicious. Okay,
It totally is. I must
Ashely?
agree.
Ashely, this is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, I hope you all had the opportunity. Oh, Vivian Torres put up an emoji with her mouth watering. Yes, Vivian, it is so good. And I hope that you had the opportunity to join us in this cooking. Jeff Noel says, shout out to the realest councilwoman in the country, Linda Julien. Oh, Jeff, you're so amazing. Shouts out to you, young man. I saw you on MSNBC the other night. We still got to talk. I'm so proud of you. Yes, Tracy, it is delicious. It not only looks delicious, it is delicious.
So I want to know, did anyone actually try to cook it while we were cooking?
Is there anybody who is watching us right now that tried to cook this dish along with us?
Because ours came out great.
It came out really
I
good.
just want to know if they had as much success.
This is delicious. Listen, this Cinco de Mayo is going down in history, okay?
It really is.
And for
This
anyone-
is the best tasty taco bowl I've ever had.
Thank
And the
you.
healthiest.
Yes. And that's a good thing. This, like I said, it's a dish that you can play around with. Now you know how to cook buckwheat, so you can use the buckwheat for different things.
Yeah.
You know how to make Pico De Gallo. You can put that on top of different dishes as well. Even if you're making a salad, you can put Pico De Gallo on top. You can put Pico De Gallo on top of different vegetables as well when you're baking them. So this is definitely one of those dishes where you can just take all the different elements and kind of mix and match them as you see fit in your diet.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much, Ashely. This was delicious. For those of you who are watching, I hope that you had fun cooking with us. What's Cooking with Councilwoman Julien? We made a tasty taco bowl today, okay, for Cinco de Mayo. And I am joined here with State Representative Felicia Robinson, who was my co-host. Yay, give it up for her. And our head chef and only chef, Ashely of Eat Well Exchange. And Ashely, before we close, why don't you tell our viewers about Eat Well Exchange and what it is that you guys promote?
Well, Eat Well Exchange, we're actually a Miami Gardens nonprofit, and we teach communities of color how to eat our foods in a healthier way. Because a lot of times we're always told we have to abandon our culture to be healthy, but that's not the case. We can take foods that we're familiar with and just eat them a little bit healthier. So we know that our people are struggling with a lot of different diseases and conditions, and most of those can be prevented from food. So we teach you how to cook a little bit healthier, how to grow your own foods, and also just more benefits of our foods, so that way we can prevent negative health outcomes. So follow us on Instagram if you're not already, Eat Well Exchange, and you can see other recipes like this that we post often.
Beautiful. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us on What's Cooking with Councilwoman Julien. I want to say thank you to both of you ladies for joining me in the kitchen and helping me to talk about the health benefits of certain foods and how we can eat delicious meals, right? While still being healthy, right? And so we don't have to pound in all the salt and all that other stuff that's not really good, especially for people of color. So thank you very much. And this is the end. But we are gonna go and enjoy the remainder of our tasty
Yes.
taco bowl. And for those of you out there, I want to encourage you to enjoy the rest of your Cinco de Mayo evening and be responsible, be safe, and we will see you again. Bye.